Okay. Hey guys, you're with me, Oloni, on Podcast, and I have an amazing guest with me today. It's Ally Iseman. Woo-hoo. So Ally Iseman is a modern relationship expert and luxury erotic lifestyle consultant. Okay, so when you say like erotic lifestyle consultant, what do you mean? Is that to do with toys, or is that what does, like, educate me?
Sure. So
Yes.
it's my favorite question. So it can mean a number of different things. So
Right.
folks generally come to me if they're in a couple, they're looking to either open up to maybe explore other relationship styles, maybe an open relationship, polyamory, something like that. Maybe they're just looking to explore some kinks, or maybe they want to start venturing out into the lovely world of play parties.
Okay.
So I help them understand what that landscape can look like, make it fun, make it accessible, and ideally minimize risk.
Okay. Now, I don't mean to say this in a way that's offensive at all, but if I was to look at you, I would never assume...
Little me.
I would never assume that is, like, you know, part of your world. How did you get into this?
Oh my goodness. Well, I've been in this space personally and professionally for over a decade now.
Yeah.
Since early 2016. So, I mean, I love that you have that reaction.
Yeah.
Because I think it really gets people to like sit up and be like, wait a minute, and ask the exact question that you're asking, because all kinds are in this space. I like to say from baristas to barristers.
Yeah.
You'll find them at play parties, in kink spaces, all of that. There isn't a type of person that is interested in this. These are just interests that people have.
Right.
So for me, it was part of kind of my dating life, my dating journey. I had realized I had been monogamous, and I had been what I call serial monogamous.
Yeah.
So I had been dating one person for about the same amount of time, then I'd be single for about the same amount of time, and then boom, into the next relationship.
Right.
So I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
When I see a pattern, I'm like, ooh, let me like mess with some variables. So I was like, what if I'm single for longer than usual? I wonder what's on the other side of that.
Absolutely.
And the answer to that question was all of my own shit. So I got to start working on me.
Yeah.
Fun.
No, that's true.
Yeah, but it was so worth it, because then when I did start dating again, which was still monogamy at the time, I at least now understood more about what I wanted, what I was interested in, what got me excited and turned on. And so I was able to start having those conversations, albeit awkwardly in those first few relationships, but I was able to bring that into the conversation. And so, you know, we were talking about maybe a threesome with another woman and things like that. Didn't happen in those relationships, but that brought me to what inevitably became my last monogamous relationship, where we tried opening things up, made every mistake. I like to say I made every mistake.
Ooh,
learned everything the hard way, so you don't have to.
What do you mean you made
Oh,
mistakes?
I mean, we didn't educate ourselves about what that even meant. I didn't have language like polyamory, compersion. Like, I didn't know any of the things I know now.
What's the other word you used?
Compersion.
What's
so
that?
You'll hear it most frequently in polyamorous spaces, but it's just the empathetic joy. So the joy or pleasure you feel from your partner experiencing joy or pleasure with someone else.
Ooh, what's that word again? Compersion. Compersion. So basically, when they're with another person and I'm happy for them.
Yeah. And that can look sexual, like cuckolding or cuckweening. Like you get enjoy. It doesn't have to be erotic. It can just be pleasurable.
Okay.
But yeah, that took me on, you know, kind of exploring this. That kind of imploded, and then I said, you know what, I want to explore this, but I don't want any emotional casualties on my conscience. So let me like do this solo. Let me try and find events and go to parties. And like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like, I've seen Eyes Wide Shut. Like, there's stuff. Let me go.
Yeah.
And then that just kind of became this journey of the last 10 years. And I've been both attending and hosting high-end erotic play parties, immersive art events, erotic events for 10 years, in addition to also working with couples and folks that are looking to explore the space.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Okay. So we're going to get more into that during this episode, because there's so much for me to learn, because recent guests I've had have all been, you know, more about monogamy, but, you know,
which is also great.
We're
not saying monogamy is bad.
I know, but like, I feel like it's always important to allow, especially my audience, to understand that there are different ways to love. There's different ways to have sex. There's different ways to enjoy pleasure. There's different ways to just have relationships in general, because I feel like we live in a society that is just so mono-focused. We see it in pop culture. We see it in family. It's how we've grown up, religion, society, but there's just been so many like examples that have shown us that monogamy might not actually be for everyone. So why don't we try to, you know, explore other avenues or other realms? And there's nothing wrong with that. But before we get into that, I want to know, Alli, when was the last time you got laid?
Ooh. By myself, or were other people
Oh,
involved?
good question. Do you know what? Let's do both.
Oh, okay. Well, then this morning.
Okay.
It's been a long day, so I haven't had a chance between now and then. But and then, well, I've had house guests. Ooh. So my recurring primary partner here.
Yeah.
We're going to have a nice little staycation hotel night this evening.
Ooh, nice. I'm jealous.
It's been a couple days since we've connected, but just by logistical reasons.
Okay. Okay, and the last time you you played with yourself was earlier today. Mm-hmm. Love it. What is your favorite toy? Do you have a favorite toy?
Let's see. I mean, God, I feel it feels cliche, but just I love horsepower. So like the Doxy is a classic.
Ooh, the wand.
Yes, any wand version. I'm a fan.
I love
because it's versatile too. It's like no matter what you're doing, it's got a place.
I love a wand. Yeah. Wands used to scare the men that I had sex with though in the past because they would just see this huge machine and they'd be so intimidated by it. They'd be like, "What in the world is this thing that this lady is pulling out of her back?" It is your teammate. Like, you guys are supposed to play together. Like, you know, it doesn't replace you, it complements you.
Everyone's friends here.
Exactly. Okay. They get so intimidated by it. It's hilarious. But I think, my favorite toy right now, I always talk about it, but I do love a suction toy. I'm a suction girly.
I need to work on my technique with that, I
really?
think. I feel like I'll like it more, but I don't think I have enough experience with it, so I just need to play more.
I feel like that is another thing as well. It's so important to explore with toys, but my thing is I'm stuck on suction toys. I had my wand era. I was in my wand era. I would say 2000. I love that. 2015 to 2020. Now I'm in my suction era. I don't know what will evolve from this. I'd love to see. Right? It could go anywhere.
So many advances are coming out these days.
Absolutely. Okay, so I've got this part of my show where I call Get Your Shit Off. I've literally just introduced it because I just realized I did not do it with my other guests, but we could do it now.
Let's bring it out.
Basically, it's called Get Your Shit Off. I just want you to have a rant about anything, sex, dating, that just might be irking you. Like, anything.
How much time do we have? No.
Right?
Yeah, you know what? I feel like it all falls under the umbrella for the most part of this. It drives me nuts that we treat relationship, really of any kind, of partnering up in any way, as like this destination. Of like, okay, I'm single. It's like I'm in the waiting room. Yeah. And then I'll get there and then boom, I'm there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like this happily ever after is the goal, but that's just the begin. I like to say, like, Disney movies, rom-coms, fairy tales, they all end at the beginning of the relationship.
True.
So I use the term relation trip because it's an ongoing conversation. If you're now partnering with someone or someone's, you're starting something. You didn't get somewhere. That's not the end of the journey.
That is true. It's literally the beginning.
And I wish we just treated it that way, because that can apply to our sexual journey as well. It's so many components. It's not this end result, end goal.
Yeah.
It's just another phase.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Now, I want to know what you guys think. Make sure you use the hashtag laidbarepodcast. Okay, so I want to know how it was that you became a non-monogamous educator. So I know you spoke briefly about like what it is you do, but how did you get into that field?
Well, for me, like I said, it started my personal journey, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm interested in something, I go all in. I want to learn everything I can. And it was a lot harder to do 10 years ago than it is now. Not that it's, everywhere, but there's a lot more information accessible.
Yeah.
And that's a part of my mission as well, make it as accessible as possible.
Right.
So I was just reading everything I could, exploring, trying to go to events, find people, connect. And I just found myself getting involved in, like I said, producing these events, being on teams. People would start approaching me for mentorship, for input. And so it was a very organic progression. So when I stepped down from my last role, I was a VP of marketing at a company. And I was like, okay, I want to do something for myself. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Like, so, what am I interested in? What am I up to? And then through that reflection process, I realized I'm actually already doing it. I'm just not doing it formally. Oh. And what's a way that I can create it that I can reach as many people as possible. And that is what became the launch of my platform, Passport to Pleasure, which is where all my educational resources live. I'm now going to be launching my own events instead of building them with other communities.
Are you going to be doing it in London?
Sure will.
Oh, that's amazing. So tell me more about like what that will entail and what the parties will look like, what they'll be about. I want to know.
So they're connection events. I use terms like play party, sex party, because people have a general idea of what that means. But really, at the end of the day, it's about connecting. we want to connect in person. I'm very excited to see people moving offline and going to in-person events to really meet people in real life.
Yeah.
We're craving that. We're missing that so much. So I want to create opportunities that are, low pressure but high potential, right? So they're immersive art events where it's play friendly. So we have anything you need to explore consensually, of course, with other adults. But it's by no means the experience to do that. It's just a potential part of a very immersive, erotic, sensual experience. When I say sensual, I mean that literally. Like your senses are going to be getting flirted with, whether it's a sensual dinner party or an immersive art exhibit or both or all of the above. These are the environments I like to create that are conducive to curiosity and connection.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you haven't started them yet.
No. They're in.
Okay.
So I've been a part of that with, building other communities as part of a wonderful community in Los Angeles that I'm very, very proud of. We were actually the first community to institute requiring STI test results from our guests before attending. Very, very proud of that.
It's very
standard.
important. Yeah.
Very, very important.
Yeah.
And so building that and really saying yes and to what all the already amazing, beautiful communities that are here in London, and not just London. My big vision is actually an annual traveling event that's going to feature up and coming lifestyle destinations around the world.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Yeah, because I think there are a couple communities that do that here. I think
There's
they
a lot.
go to there's some, there are, and they go to, I think there was one I know about that they went to Jamaica, and there was I think, what was it,
hedonism too is
hedonism. I was supposed to go, but then I don't know, something happened and it was just I think I was also a bit nervous because I was just like, everybody's naked.
Well, see, and this is why I love doing what I'm doing, because there's so many assumptions that, if I go, then XYZ, everyone's gonna be naked, I'm supposed to do something. No, it's just space. There may be nudity, but there's also areas that you can go that are
safe for you.
That are not nudity or required to have bathing suits or whatever it is. And understanding that there's different kinds of events, there's different kinds of venues, there's different kinds of resorts and retreat centers you can go to that have varying degrees of participation available.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's so important because it's not like every single one's the same.
Yeah.
There's something for everyone no matter where you're at on your journey.
No, that's important as well, because I feel like even the play parties here, when people go to them, they assume that they're supposed to get involved, or they have to have sex, or they have to play. And that's not always the case.
It's not
always the case.
It's never the
That's
case.
true.
If you are at an event and there is anyone, whether it's an organizer, another guest, or just the if something is making you feel like you have to fill in the blank, anything, that says more about the event than you. That is absolutely, without exception, not what this space is about.
Yeah. And how
that is my hill to die on. You can't tell.
No, I agree. How do you personally define what ethical non-monogamy is as well?
So you'll hear me use the term consensual non-monogamy. Okay. I say ethical because it seems to be more familiar.
Yeah, that's what people.
Folks.
Yeah, that's what people. I've heard.
There's people within the space that I'm in don't like that as much because there's a couple inferences that, like, if it's ethical non-monogamy, it kind of infers that non-monogamy is inherently unethical.
Yeah,
which is not the case. You can have ethical or unethical monogamy. It's more about the consent aspect, and then also who says what's ethical, what's ethical, what's not. It depends on sort of who you're speaking to. So consensual is more indicative of the difference, right? So
Absolutely.
You can have consensual and non-consensual monogamy. I like to say a lot of people are actually in non-consensual monogamy because the only way you can consent to something is if you understand what it is. And we're not even talking about what monogamy is.
When you say that it's not consenting, do you mean cheating, basically?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Call it what it is.
Of course.
Which, by the way, you can be cheated on whether you're monogamous or non-monogamous.
Of course, you can definitely be cheated on if you're in a relationship that might be a bit open from time to time. Yeah. And what do you think the biggest myth is when it comes to E&M relationships?
Oof, picking one. That's I'll do like my top three. I'll do my top three.
Yeah.
That it's all about sex. Like, the only reason anyone would ever want to open up is just to, have your cake and eat it too. Mm-hmm. First of all, if you want to have sex with a lot of people, that's okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The key is involving everyone who's affected by that decision in the decision-making process.
Yeah.
If you're in a partnership and you want to open up a relationship, that's different than just making decisions on your own.
Right.
You need to co-create what that looks like together.
Yeah.
So that's the consent part, right? And B, that, or we kind of touched on it earlier, it's only for blue-haired people or something. Polyamory, everyone kind of looks a certain way.
Yeah.
Clearly not.
Yeah.
Like,
what's your background?
Like my ethnicity is that I'm Ashkenazi.
Okay.
Originally from America, East Coast, lived on the West Coast, but I'm as Ashkenazi Jew as far back as we can find.
And I say that because I feel like even in my community as a Black woman, I feel like it's something that's very like looked down on, especially because of how I've grown up. I grew up in a very Christian Nigerian background, so all we know since growing up is monogamy and marriage, and as you mentioned, you know, that being the end goal when it really isn't. So it makes me wonder, like, is it not like that in other communities? Or
I think there's a lot of misinformation, and that, of course, will show up as fear and, you know, just the incorrect understanding of things or the assumption of things and the measurement of those things against something else that maybe is held up in a certain way, even if it's not actually practiced that way. So when we open up a relationship, it's more about the opening of communication. Can we talk about, hey, I want to be committed to you for life. I am also finding myself attracted to other people. Can we talk about how that feels? That doesn't mean we're having sex with other people or anything like that. But if we can't create any kind of relationship, including monogamy, if we can't create that container as a safe space to have uncomfortable conversations, we don't stand a chance.
Absolutely.
That is the point.
And it's important because sometimes even when I've landed in relationships, I start to think, wait, so it's just your penis forever? Oh my God, that sounds like, I mean, it sounds like hell. And to other people, that might sound great. Yeah. But I'm just like, oh, like that, you know. And if for anyone who's ever been in a long-time relationship, you will know what I mean. Like, it's not that you suddenly decide that you want to cheat or anything, but it hits you that this just might be the only person that I enjoy pleasure with. And what if I do want to open it? How do I, you know, approach the subject? How do I have that conversation with them? Like, that I won't mind if, you know, if I give you, what is it? I guess the cards, what do they call it? The pass, sorry.
Oh, the hall pass.
The hall pass. I've forgotten certain terms because I feel like it's so
your
dated.
List, your celebrity list.
Yeah, I forgot because I feel like hall passes, that term just feels so dated. Like, I don't know.
It is.
Yeah, it is, right? Yeah. It is, because I'm sure there's other ways that we can say these things because the conversation. Your partner's
not your teacher or your ward or your, like.
Exactly.
We're moving out of relationship as ownership, which, let's be real, is where our understanding of monogamy these days comes from. Yeah. And we're moving into partnership. Yes. And it's really important to understand the difference. We have autonomy as women, as individuals, in a way that we never have before in society. We get to make choices on our own that we never got to make before. That's not to say there's a lot of road to still be paved, but we're now meeting our partners. We're saying, I want to bring something to the table. You need to bring something to the table too. It's not just, oh, you're my access to status, money, whatever it is. I have my own freedom. What now can we create together? And that requires a whole new language, a whole new set of understanding. And it's challenging, but it's only challenging because it's new. Yeah. It's like learning a new language.
No, it's true. And we still have those ideals that we need to unlearn at the same time as well, because it's true. When you think of relationships today, it's not like how it was. Like, I'm not with my partner because I need to buy a house or I need to open up a bank. And I think, I don't know how to describe it. I feel like maybe the residue or the thoughts and the thoughts or just the behavior and just the way we had relationships a very long time ago is what we're still carrying and pouring over into the relationships that we still have today.
I love the residue. I love that.
Because do you know what I mean though?
Totally.
Because it's just like we're still carrying parts of that, like maybe what our grandparents were doing or what their parents were doing, and we still have, there's still a bit of that is still in us when it comes to how we approach relationships today. It might not be ownership, or it might not be us quite literally staying at home whilst the man goes out and gets the bacon or whatever, but it's still a bit of, oh, I can't do this because my partner won't be happy with it because he has, basically I was having this conversation with my friend, right, and she couldn't leave the house until she changed what she wore, and it was giving me the ick. I basically said to myself, he doesn't own you. You're your own person. He shouldn't be able to tell you what to wear. He isn't your dad, just like he isn't your teacher. So it just made me think like, okay, the reason why we're still behaving this way is because of the behavior we were taught and what we picked up from, relationships many years ago. I hope that makes sense because I just feel like I'm rambling.
Well,
yeah.
You're bringing up a really important distinction that I'd love to share.
Yeah, go for it.
So what you just described is a rule.
Yeah.
That's I'm saying you can or cannot do a thing. A lot of people confuse that and boundaries. Mm-hmm. Boundaries are about me. This is how I take care of myself. Mm-hmm. And I engage with people who honor that. And then I disengage with people who don't.
You can't
That's
put
not
them
me
on
saying
other.
you do or you do not do this.
Yeah.
When we're in relationship, we create agreements. Those are just boundaries for the relationship. But I'm going to say something that may feel a little confronting. Just
go for it. No, listen, go for it.
We don't get to tell our partner whether or not they get to see other people.
Yeah.
We get to decide whether we want to be with a partner who does or does not see other people.
Okay, so
that's the difference between a boundary and a rule.
Okay. Wait, so say that again.
Yeah. So say we're together.
Right.
I don't get to say you're not allowed to see other people.
Yeah.
I get to say whether or not I want to see other people. And if you've decided that you want to see other people, I now get to decide if I want to be with a person who also sees other people.
Absolutely. No, that, of course, that, no.
We don't make our partners
it's true.
monogamous or polyamorous.
It's true.
Only we decide that for ourselves.
Yeah, but I feel like most people usually just assume that it's going to be a monogamous relationship, because I'm trying to think, if I was dating a guy and I said, oh no, I'm going to still see other people. Yeah, we're exclusive, but
well, exclusive
actually,
means
then it won't be exclusive then, would it? Oh yeah, we're together, but I'm still going to see other people. Let's just say that.
You're bringing up some of my favorite stuff now.
Go on.
So there's something I call compound meanings.
Yeah.
In our society, we kind of merge a number of different words and we assume they mean the same thing. Love, sex, and commitment is a great one. Those are not synonyms. Those are different words. So the idea that like, oh, if you're attracted to somebody else, that means you're less attracted to me or you don't love me. No, that means you're attracted to somebody else. That has nothing to do with how I feel about you.
Yeah.
But what you're talking about, that exclusivity, right?
Yeah.
Exclusivity means being exclusive to a thing, person, whatever it is. But it's not the same as commitment.
Right.
We assume exclusivity is a synonym of commitment. It's not. Commitment is not exclusivity, it's consistency.
True.
What are you committed to? And do you show up that way over and over and over
And what are you
again?
consistent with, though? So it should be consistent for showing up.
Yeah. I support my partners in the way they need to. We talk about it if it needs to change. We have regular check-ins for that. We have the conversations around the things that we need each other to show up in certain ways to make sure that we have the capacity to do that on a regular basis.
Yeah. No, that does make a lot more sense. And it makes you wonder why people conflate all three, actually. So it was commitment, sex, and love, right?
Yeah.
No, it's true. I agree.
If you love me, then you only want to have sex with me.
No.
But your sexual needs are physical needs.
Yeah.
Your romantic needs are emotional needs. And you kind of touched on this earlier where, the idea of having one sexual partner kind of gives you the
scares me. I'm even shaking now.
So you may have less of a need for exclusivity sexually, but maybe you have a higher need for exclusivity emotionally.
Yeah.
So understanding that those are two different planes can help you understand what sorts of relationship designs or what sort of relationship styles support those needs so that you can make sure that you're aligning with the right types of partners.
And what type of person would you say should not be in an ethical, non-monogamous relationship?
If you are someone who cannot deal with being uncomfortable from time to time, if you avoid discomfort at all costs, I would honestly even say you might not want to get in any kind of relationship, including monogamy, more so consensual non-monogamy, because I like to think of it as like relationship exposure therapy. When you have a socially accepted one-size-fits-all relationship, it's really easy to kind of be lazy in it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying monogamy is like exclusively lazy. If you're in conscious monogamy, it is just as active and a choice as consensual non-monogamy. But when there's that social acceptance of like, oh yeah, this is the thing you do, then it's like, again, oh, I arrived there, boop, done. Don't have to do anything anymore. I'm not going to address anything because, we said we're together. So I'm going to assume that exclusive or that commitment means the same thing to them as it does to me. I'm going to assume all these different things mean the same thing to them as they do to me. We're never going to talk about it. Cheating is a big one. People have different definitions of what that actually means.
Of what cheating is.
And no one talks about it.
Oh, yeah, because I feel like people don't really recognize emotional cheating as cheating.
Yeah. Well, not everyone feels the same way about it.
Exactly, or flirting. Because I feel like before you get to the physical physical, a lot of the times there's emotional cheating that's involved. And even flirting, I think, for some people do consider that cheating. Other people in monogamous relationships might say it's not a big deal. They're fine with it.
Well, that's the thing. It's understanding, again, what your boundaries are, what your edges are, communicating them so that your partner understands, making sure you understand it the same way.
Creating your own rules, yeah.
Exactly. You have your own agreements. That is the relationship, is the agreements that you're making. So making sure you and your partner understand each other's, because they might be different, but if you understand what your partner's kind of edges are, and you're like, you know what, that works for me, I can honor that, thank you, and vice versa. But if you're never having that conversation, like for me, cheating is quite simple. You don't tell me.
Yeah.
That's if you have feelings for somebody, you want to connect with somebody physically, whatever it is, like, fabulous. Let's talk about it. So know what's going on. By all means, we'll create the agreement that makes sense. Have a great time. But if something happens or you want something, you don't talk about it, you avoid the thing, that's more in alignment with cheating to me. That's dishonesty, that's hiding something. I don't care if it's emotional, physical, whatever it is. It's that withholding of information. Absolutely. That causes that distrust and breaks that trust.
Do you think a lot of people are in open relationships, consensual open relationships? Well, when I say open relationships, I mean non-monogamy, of course, because open relationships is a very huge bracket. But because I'm starting to realize that a lot more people are in consensual non-monogamous relationships than I realized before. And I'm seeing it and I'm just thinking to myself, I did not know this was, or maybe it's just because I'm getting older, so I'm seeing it more, and a lot of people are becoming more comfortable in
that part
in their situation. Because when you're young, all we're taught or we're seeing on TV is monogamy. You know, growing up, a lot of the TV shows I watched were family set up, a family unit who had a daughter who was boy crazy, and it wasn't that she was boy crazy about going out with two guys and wanting to be in a relationship. She had to choose. She always had to choose. That's all we saw. So it's now that maybe we're getting older and we're seeing that people are comfortable with the choices and understanding that relationships don't have to just be a one-way street. Like, I can pick, other lanes. And what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that there's more people in consensual non-monogamous relationships than before?
I like to base things in statistics.
Absolutely, as you should.
And unfortunately, we have less numbers because
everyone's open and wants to admit
it. So what we're keying in here is the important point that I don't know that it's necessarily more people are a part of this now than before.
Yeah,
it's becoming safer to be open about
that is important. Words and mean things. Yes.
So it's I guarantee, and I don't speak in absolutes often, but I guarantee there are more people in your life, whoever is watching this, that are either have been or are currently in some form of consensual non-monogamy than you realize.
Yeah.
Because even though, yes, it's becoming more available, we have social media, which is something we never had before. So we get these windows into other ways of living.
Yeah.
We get language. You get people like me talking about it, and all kinds of different people who don't look like me talking about it, making it more accessible. It makes it easier to think about that for yourself. Say, oh, well, they, remind me of me or somebody in my life. And like, if they're talking about it, I wonder, it makes it less threatening and more acceptable, and then more people elsewhere start opening up about it.
Absolutely.
It's an environmental thing, I think, as well, because statistically speaking, let's make sure I get these numbers right. Sometimes I get a little flip them in my head, but let's see. The number one reported fantasy. These are North American statistics. Forgive me. I'll update my UK numbers. The number one reported fantasy is sex with multiple people, group sex, threesome.
Oh, absolutely. I can
number
believe
one.
That. Yeah.
And 30% of, let's just call it people, I forget the age bracket, but it's a massive part of the population. 30% of folks state that something other than traditional monogamy is their ideal relationship. 20% of the population has at some point been in some version of consensual non-monogamy. And depending on the study you look at, between 3 to 7% are currently in some version of consensual non-monogamy. Yeah. So to give you an idea, I'm Jewish, I'm vegan.
Yeah.
1% and 2% of the population. So 2 to 3 times
as
many vegans and Jews are in consensually non-monogamous relationships.
Oh, that is interesting, though. I'm going to have to look at the UK stats.
They're not too different. I just don't
have them memorized. I know. I'm sure. I was about to say, I'm sure they're not too different at all. Okay, and I wanted to know, like, what a successful, like, consensual non-monogamous relationship looks like to you, because, of course, you can still step out even if you're in a consensual non-monogamous relationship. It just obviously doesn't become consensual anymore. But before you get to that stage, what does it look like if it's unsuccessful? As well as I know communication is definitely a big part of it, but apart from that as well. Yeah,
unconsensual anything is beyond my interest. Like there is no before that to me, because it's just so outside of what I would be interested in. But to answer your question, I love that you used the word successful, because I'm going to say this for relationships. This includes monogamy.
Yeah.
Right now, what I see, this is, bone to pick from earlier. This is another one that's just like, we define success socially in relationships by length alone. Oh, they've been together 50 years. Wow, congratulations. They've been miserable for 45 of them. Ooh. But congratulations.
Yeah.
Length is not a measure of depth.
Absolutely.
In physics or psychology.
Yeah.
So we need other measures. So for me, I'm very growth mindset. I'm curious. I always want to be expanding, learning, understanding. I want partners that I can grow with, that will challenge me in beneficial ways, that will expose me to new things, new ways of thinking, that I can venture into the world with. I like that. So for me, there's a sense of security and consistency. Again, consistency is really key. Do they show up the way they say they're going to? Do their words match their actions? Are we always looking out for each other? Is my nervous system regulated? That was a huge change. I dated completely differently starting a couple years ago, and it completely changed the kind of partnerships that came into my life.
How did you change differently?
It was all about my nervous system.
Okay.
It was like, okay, if I'm on a first date, unless this person, because I date all kinds of folks, unless this person has done something that like crosses a safety barrier, like that kind of thing, there's nothing like immediately like actively off-putting. And I'm not talking about the ick, like they chew loud. Like that's not the thing. Like they have made me visibly uncomfortable or something. Yeah. I'm going on another date.
Of course, yeah.
Because attraction is not butterflies.
That is
Butterflies is anxiety. That's a dysregulated nervous system.
Yeah.
How do I feel around this person? I would go home and I'd check in with my body. Am I in my body? Am I present? Do I feel grounded? Is my heart rate, breathing? How was I feeling on that date? And if I was regulated, I'm going on another date.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to experience, it's funny, like I study this, right? This is my world. I love talking about it. I nerd out. I'm reading about it all the time. Relationships, connection, communication, and still living into the stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes I surprise myself. I was like, oh, this is that stuff that I'm reading about. Attraction builds. Like I have, my partner here in London. By all definitions, a handsome individual. Like I can say that as a handsome man, but I'm sapiosexual. I need something else. I need that intellect, that connection, that wit, something going on. So I need to spend time with somebody. And he was not somebody I necessarily would have like picked out in a crowd of like you. But as we've gotten to know each other, as our relationship has deepened now, well over a year, we've had a lot of life in the last year that we've navigated as well. And he's been an incredible, consistent, wonderful human and a source of support. That attraction has grown to a point where he's like a god. That's a terrible reference, but just insatiable. Like I cannot get enough of this person. He fills my cup. It's wonderful. I didn't start that way. It wasn't butterflies and oh my gosh. It was like, this will be fun.
It built. Yeah.
It built. My God, it's so stable because it's actually been built. It's not built on this like
shakiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's amazing though. I love that for you as well.
Thank you.
I hope I find that.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't get a bit freaked out by thinking this is the only person for the rest of my life.
Dating is getting to know someone.
It is.
We don't know them.
It is. I did not cancel a date, but I just, decided I didn't want to see it. Do you know what it was? It was attraction for me. I can't lie. I just said to myself, I'm not that attracted to you. And I think that's okay as well. If you're not that attracted to someone.
Yeah, it depends what you're, for me, I'm active, I'm fit, my health, I've had some health challenges over the last year, so I've been kind of rocked off of a lot of my routines. But having partners who have physical activity, health, and wellness in their life already is very important to me.
It is very important, yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily look one way, but there are certain attributes that usually show up with that. And
Absolutely.
So that is something I look for.
Yeah, no, it's important.
But it's expanding the idea of like immediate attraction. I invite that into your world.
Yeah. I love it. Okay. And the next question I have for you as well is, how do you distinguish between jealousy that needs reassurance and jealousy that needs boundaries? Because obviously if you're in a consensual consensual non-monogamous relationship, jealousy has to come in. We're human. I think jealousy is very natural as well. There's nothing wrong with jealousy as well. I always say it's how you handle the jealousy. But how do you navigate that when you are in this sort of dynamic?
Yeah. And to me, this goes across the board. Again, it's inclusive of monogamy, because you may very well probably get jealous at some point in your monogamous relationship too. And I couldn't agree more. Nothing wrong with it. Just another emotion. Quite frankly, I think one of the most, if not the most, misunderstood and underutilized emotions out there. It's just information. I like to break down jealousy into sort of 4 types. So you've got insecurity. Something's been triggered in me. For me, I love that because I go, ooh, okay, I'm, not feeling as fit or whatever is happening for me. Maybe I need to go to the gym a little bit more and I'll feel stronger. And that's a me thing. I'm feeling insecure about something. That's something I can address. That's great. I can share with my partner, hey, I'm feeling insecure about this thing. I'd love some, words of affirmation or accountability or something like that to support me as I manage that. But that's not my partner's responsibility.
Absolutely.
Then there's, comparison or competition, especially in a open relationship or polyamorous relationship, there's other people involved. It's very easy, even in monogamy, quite frankly, to get into some comparison and competition. So noticing that, why am I comparing myself to this person? Are there attributes that I actually value that I can then work on building in myself? Data, again, just information.
Yeah.
Then you've got fear of abandonment. That's a tough one because that's like childhood wound. Like this person I love and care about so much could leave, could be taken away from me. That's a really intense one. And that's a very, very vulnerable thing to be able to share with your partner. But that's how you build intimacy.
Absolutely.
I'm scared.
No,
I'm
true.
afraid you're going to leave. Tell me you won't, or know what you need.
Yeah.
It's not their, again, it's never their job to manage your jealousy.
It's not a bad idea if
but you
they
can
help.
share.
Yeah,
just like, hey, I'd love some extra cuddles. Can we just kind of have some us? I've noticed, I'm feeling that way. I think it might be because we haven't had as much one-on-one time as we're used to. Can we make sure we plan like a one-on-one date this weekend? Whatever that is, you can bring them into the process, but it's still your job to manage that experience. Then the 4th kind is distrust. That's about the relationship. That's a insecurity within the relationship. That's when it's time to be like, hey, I think there's this, repeated pattern, or I've seen you, you said this and sort of haven't actually done it a number of times, and it's impacting my level of trust in our relationship. We need to work on that together. That's a shared experience there, because that's, again, like insecurity. It's about me. That's for me to manage. Distrust, again, about the relationship. So that's about the agreements that you guys have together.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's just information.
How do you, because you've mentioned, your partner, is he your primary partner you mentioned?
Sure. You can use that term.
Is he dating
I have a girlfriend as well.
Oh, you have a girlfriend. Is he dating other people as well?
So he's more, for him, would be more sexual.
Yeah.
Like, I'm definitely his primary, like, emotional relationship. He's my primary emotional relationship here as well. My girlfriend's long distance.
Yeah.
It's a different type of relationship than I have with him.
Yeah.
But I've also been with her longer. We've known each other a lot longer. It's not a comparison.
Of course.
It's just 2 relationships. So
okay.
I don't love the concept of primary. I know it helps people understand.
Yeah.
Those are my main partners.
But it's just main partners. Okay. Yeah. Are they allowed to see and date other people?
They can do anything that helps them live the most fulfilled.
Okay.
Like, I personally like to know.
Yeah.
So
how would you navigate that? Let's create something and just pretend that they're dating, because you said you've got a girlfriend and she's and you're both in a long distance relationship at the moment. If she mentions that she's dating another guy or another woman, and you feel that you're not as she's not responding to you as quickly as she usually does, how do you navigate that? Or maybe she's posting about this other new woman on social media a lot more, and you're just like, wait, hold on.
Yeah. Well, I think first and foremost, I'm going to want to look at, like, is the you named some very specific things, which are great. Like, oh, I'm feeling like she's not responding to me as much as, or as quickly or whatever as she used to. That doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
I'm going to name that for myself. I'm going to look at, you know, what am I afraid of? Am I afraid that means, you know, she doesn't want to be with me anymore? Like, what are the things that are coming up so that I can then talk to her in a constructive way of like, hey, I'm noticing, you know, less communication. Do we need to kind of talk about our frequency of communication? Do you want to change kind of how we've agreed about that? Or is this totally accidental? You're just kind of, you know, overtaken by NRE, new relationship energy. And you just kind of need to like zone in on her for a couple months. And then you and I can.
I like that NRE.
Yeah, thank you. New relationship energy.
Yeah.
But it's just being open about it. Because again, it's not her job to manage it. But for what helps me personally is kind of just knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
So if you're, you know, you have a fight, it gives me a lot of anxiety if a partner just like, ugh, and like walks off. Like, that's not cool for me.
Yeah, of course.
But if they're like, you know what, I'm too activated right now, I can't have this conversation, I'm gonna go for a walk for an hour and then we'll meet back here. Then I'm like, great. Even if it's like 3 days, I'm like, whatever. As long as I know we're coming back, I have that boundary. We've talked about it. I'm good.
Yeah.
I just like to know what's going on.
I'm trying to think. Like, I like the idea of being in a consensual, non-monogamous relationship, but I also know that I'm a jealous person. I think
You're just a person who experiences jealousy, like most people.
True. No, that's true. That is true. But some people have, I think, a higher rate of jealousy than others. Do you not think?
I would, from my work with couples and individuals, my own personal work as well, studying as a certified coach, and I also studied therapeutic practice as well.
Yeah.
I would say it's not so much that you necessarily experience jealousy more. It may just be that you have less practice managing it.
Ooh,
so think about, you know, I don't know if your hobbies, right? Like singing, whatever it is. When you first started, generally, it's not very easy.
Yeah, of course.
And it feels like a lot. So when we have an entire society built around avoiding discomfort, that's also giving us the messaging that if you're jealous, there's something wrong with you, there's something wrong with the relationship, whatever it is, avoid it.
Facing it.
Then you're never dealing. It's like going to the gym for the first time and being like, man, these weights are heavy. Like, like they're actually always heavy. You just get stronger.
Absolutely. That is true. Me and my lunges and my weights. They were never easy in the beginning, but I love them now. No, I agree. I'm just trying to think, even with my audience, I wonder, like, you guys who are listening in, would this be something you'd ever be interested in exploring, or are you just like, absolutely not? I think there's so many of us that would want it, but we're scared of how our partner would react to it. Especially, can you imagine, like, in this day and age, I feel like even as a millennial, I cannot imagine if I had a partner wanting to go to I'm gonna just give myself a fake boyfriend, going to my Nigerian boyfriend who's probably like 40 years old, and then he says, and then I tell him, I'm thinking about wanting to open this up a bit from time to time, not all the time, but you know, I'd like to develop an emotional connection with a woman, or I would love to like just try to explore having a sexual relationship with this guy. You know, we've been together for a few years now. The guy that I presume who would be my partner would go ape shit. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but you guys tell me if you can relate to that, or even if they'd want it. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, that's what happened when I first tried.
Really?
My first attempt, like I mentioned, what became my last monogamous relationship, it blew up in our face.
Really?
We did not have the skills. Of course it's scary. It's unknown. We have very minimal representation of this in media and anything. Yeah. And generally the focus is on when these relationships end, which I find hilarious. Here's my other bone to pick, is the idea that, if you open up your relationship, it's going to end.
People say
some
that all
relationships
the time.
end, some relationships last a lifetime. Yeah. Statistically, it has nothing to do with whether or not it's monogamous or non-monogamous.
People say that all the time. Even like when women are into opening up their bedrooms to like sleep, like, I don't know, it might be like a threesome. If a guy suggests a threesome, And I've heard stories of people saying this is why their relationship broke down, because they opened up. I'm just like, if it was unsteady, it's
not about the opening, that there were unresolved issues at hand that one or both of them thought opening up would solve or help them avoid dealing with what was really going on. If it's not a Band-Aid, it's not a solution or a way to avoid stuff that needs to be addressed in the relationship. You've got to look at that stuff so that you can do this in a mindful way. Because again, people go, opening up a relationship, it ends the relationship. How many monogamous relationships or divorce rates?
Exactly.
For second and third marriages.
And they're not opening it up. So what's going on there?
It has nothing. Relationship security has nothing to do with the relationship structure. Whether you're monogamous, some version of consensual non-monogamy, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the relationship experience.
Absolutely.
Are you building it mindfully?
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, and then I've got some dilemmas. Actually, do you know what is going on right now? So in pop culture, I don't know if you know this singer. His name's called Neo.
Okay.
So Neo, you know Neo?
I'm aware of the situation.
So okay. So I was listening to it today. He was basically talking about how he would like spend Valentine's Day because he's got 3 girlfriends, and to me, I'm just like, that's a lot to deal with. Like, I can't imagine having 2 boyfriends, let alone 3 partners. So to me, I'm just like, okay, 3 partners. When you see something like that, do you feel like, even though that is consensually non-monogamous, let's go back to the ethical words for a second. Do you feel like there's any, because when I look at that, it makes me feel like how we did when we looked at what's his name? Playboy. Hugh Hefner, right? Hugh Hefner, let's be honest, that wasn't entirely ethical, in my personal opinion. And that's because I've always heard stories in the past about him. And because, in my opinion, this was a very old man who was obviously using his power to date women who were old enough to be his granddaughters. That didn't really feel ethical to me. So even though, and it just felt like a power imbalance, and I see the same thing in a slight way with Neo. I feel like there's clearly a power imbalance. I don't know how ethical this is completely. This is me just looking from the outside in, but I love me some pop culture, so I had to take it there. So I'm so glad that you're aware of the topic. So I really want to know your hot take and your thoughts on that before we sign out.
Happy to. You're drawing attention to the very important ingredient of power dynamics and inequity within them. So when you have, there's always power dynamics at play, always, no matter what. There's nothing like inherently wrong with power dynamics. Yeah. It's naming them, understanding them, and making sure people have freedom and autonomy within them.
Yes.
The dynamic we're talking about is not what I would call consensual, because my understanding, at least, is that he has 3 girlfriends. They are not allowed to have other partners.
Oh, yeah.
That's allowed. That's a rule. So that's controlling behavior.
But isn't that his boundary, though? Which is
boundaries about me.
Okay, boundaries about him. You did say that. Okay.
So
pay attention.
This is where it gets. This is.
Okay. I'm joking,
this is like, it's totally common.
Yeah.
This is where we get into like, well, how do you know? An ultimatum, right? Like, well, if you can't do this, then I won't be with you. That's coercion.
So what if they changed it and said, you know what, I want to be with you, but I have to be honest, I'm not going to be comfortable if you're dating other people. Like, I just want to be with someone who just wants to date me. And yes, I'm okay with dating other people. Not that I'm okay. Like, yes, I will date other people, but I just want to be with someone. I'm not saying that that's what you should do, but that's just that's how I feel. Then how would that be? Would that be a boundary as well then?
I'll put it this way. So I've got a friend and colleague. She's polyamorous and her husband is monogamous. She doesn't get to make him date other people any more than he gets to say she is or is not allowed to date people.
Yeah.
If she's dating other people, he gets to say, do I feel safe? Okay, fulfilled? Am I getting the needs that I need to have in this relationship met?
Right.
Do I want to stay?
Yeah.
He doesn't get to tell her what to do. So where we're getting into the power dynamics in this situation is this is somebody with, pop influence, money, all kinds of resourcing, and his 3 girlfriends aren't necessarily in that same position. So look, it may be actually fine for them. They like to be with this person. They're not interested in dating other people. Great. But if it's held up as like this ultimatum of, if you're going to be with me, you need to know that I get to see other people and you don't, that's him asserting control over their behavior, which again is not a boundary. The second it crosses into telling somebody else what they can or cannot do, it's no longer a boundary. A boundary is, I don't interact with people who speak to me that way. Yeah. So if you're going to continue speaking that way, I'm going to disengage from this conversation.
Absolutely.
It's not, don't talk to me like that.
Yeah.
And then the person gets to go, oh, you know what? Didn't realize that. Or you know what? F you. And I'm going to talk however I want. Great. I'm going to disengage. No. But I don't tell you what to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't trust.
There's nuance because it gets blended very much in our society, but it is very, very different.
Yeah, I don't
Boundaries
trust
about
Nia.
me.
I don't trust Nia.
No, I don't like it. That's my hot take. I don't like it.
Yeah, no, I don't either. I was just
that is not polyamory.
Yeah, and what do you feel the same about Hugh Hefner as well? Did you? Because I don't know if
you have had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Hefner.
Yeah.
And it's like how to.
It's
a professional dynamic, not just. Yes.
Fair enough.
It's a career decision in that space for those individuals. I
feel like it's the same. I feel like it's the exact same, if not a bit worse, to be honest.
Well, I'd be curious to know what the agreements are then, because I
don't think they could have partners either. I don't think Kendra, Holly, and I've forgotten the other one's name.
Yeah, I'm not down with it.
Yeah.
But if it's like you date me, I help you in these specific career ways or whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
But then you don't get to control what somebody else
is doing.
Does.
Yeah.
You get to say for this interaction. There's this concept of like relationships are transactional. That's bad.
Yeah.
Every
relationship is transactional.
Everything in society, in nature, is transactional. Something moves away. There's space that's filled. Everything is an exchange, a transaction.
Absolutely.
It's about consent, which in order to give consent, you have to be informed, and there can be no coercion. You are making a decision in your own autonomous self of what you want to do. You're not having somebody say, if you make this decision, I'm going to do that, and if you make that decision, I'm going to do that. No, it's, look, this is how I move through the world. Do you want to interact with somebody who moves through the world that way?
Yeah.
And again, you get into these power dynamics, and I understand why it happens, and I don't get to tell somebody else what's okay for them or not.
Absolutely.
Unless they are bringing me on as their coach, and we can look at that.
Yeah. I also feel like there's the other side where it's more like, well, if they know how that person feels, so for example, if the girls are fine with Neo having other partners, they are very grown women. They're consensual. They're allowed to be wherever they want to be and be with whoever they want to be. So, because it's weird, because at the same time I'm just like, I'm not really for this, but then again, they're consenting. So who am I to really?
But that's the key. That consent is given freely.
Yeah.
Just like
without I get what you mean, actually.
Yeah, it's not like
without
you
imposing
do this or else.
Yes,
that's not consent,
consensual.
That's control.
Yeah,
it's coercion. Whatever.
That is true. That is coercion. Anyway. Oh, it's such a sticky one.
I know.
It's like I feel like it's a huge grey area sometimes.
I wish Neo would hire me as his relationship coach, because there is a way to do this that will be much more fulfilling for him and build his confidence and his own internal security with the right structure. He can have multiple partners, and it will be so much more enriching for him to know that they are choosing to be there of their own free will, not because they're afraid they're going to lose him or what that means, whatever else. I don't want to put words in people's mouths.
Yeah.
But someone choosing to be with you, loving someone, is taking on the risk that they can hurt you.
Yeah.
You cannot build trust without risk. It's not possible. So by controlling other people, you are actually weakening the trust system in your relationship. By saying you can and cannot do this, you weaken trust.
But I don't think so. A lot of these guys, like, I don't know Neo from A Can of Paint. I don't know him. But I assume that he probably doesn't really care for the nitty gritty of what's ethical and what's not. I feel it's more like, I'm the one with the power. This is what I want, so I'm going to do what I want. Do you know what I mean?
Potentially.
Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think.
And it's a shame, because for me, I always want the best and the most for everyone.
Absolutely.
Wherever they're at.
Yeah.
I want all of us to have the experience of what I call expansive love. Of understanding the security of a relationship. Better. There's nothing better.
It feels better, like knowing that
so
you
enriching.
give someone exactly. No, it's true. I agree.
And the sex is amazing.
Exactly, it's true. It's like she's willingly choosing to just be with you alone.
My God,
without the idea of thinking, okay, she's only with me because I've given her.
Yeah. Talk about a confidence hack.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, she is here because she wants to be
here. Yeah,
because she knows. Yeah, exactly. I don't have to keep her.
Absolutely. No, I agree. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today. You've been amazing. I've learned a lot. Hope you guys have as well. Where can we find you, Alli?
Yeah, so I'm Passport to Pleasure, and that's the number 2. passporttopleasure.com on Instagram, YouTube, Substack, TikTok. You can also follow me personally on Instagram. Ally Iseman is my handle there as well. But passporttopleasure.com. It has all my digital online resources, courses, anything for exploring all kinds of relationships, whether you're solo or partnered, if you want to transition to a new style, if you want to explore play parties, kinks, things like that, all the resources you need to even learn how to master jealousy like we talked about here, how to make it your best friend. And then I also do work with a select few private clients. I only work with 5 clients at a time because we go really in depth. And I'm going to be hosting events soon as well. But again, all of that lives.
I can't wait for the events.
You'll hear about it.
Brilliant. No. And you guys know where to find me on all socials at Oloni or laidbarepodcast. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.